Hello, welcome back. I'm going to show you in today's video how to redo your kitchen in about 4 minutes. It takes a little longer than that, but I'm going to explain it in 4 minutes. The last 6 minutes is me just kind of giving you a description and more of a breakdown of the products that I used. I will be linking those in the description box below. They are not sponsored. I will not be getting any kickbacks from it. I simply just want to help you if you decide to use the products that I use during this process. So stick around and I hope you learn something new and exciting. I'm really excited about today's video. I'm going to show you how my kitchen looked whenever I first moved into the house, and I'm going to show you what we ended up doing with it. I did this entire kitchen for under $1,000. So these are the photos from whenever we first did our walkthrough. The cabinets were actually custom by the previous owner, and they're beautiful. I really do love them. But after we moved in, I brightened the space up a little bit, but we didn't really make any changes. I was having a hard time with everything being so brown, and the fact that this was, we have an addition behind it, and so there was no natural light. So I really wanted to brighten the space up. I started off by removing all of the faces of the drawers and removing the cabinet doors. I did number everything so that I knew exactly where it was supposed to go back. After that, I removed the stoppers, like the little protective stoppers, and I cleaned everything with Crud Cutter. And then I used an all-purpose cleaner to make sure that it was really clean. Next, I did primer. I actually did 3 coats of this because I wasn't sure if any of the knots in the wood were going to shine through, and I just wanted to make sure that it was going to be solid white. These are the products that I used. I ended up using the Sherwin Williams Emerald Urethane Trim Enamel, and the reason for that is because it's self-leveling and it gives you a really smooth finish regardless if you use a paintbrush or a roller. I used my little boy's blocks as risers, so if you have kids and you're doing a painting job, consider using those as risers. It worked really well. I'm going to show you up close what it ended up looking like. I wanted these to look very professional, but on my budget and with my hands. And so in the next clip, I'm going to show you exactly how smooth it went on. I did 3 coats of the enamel as well. And that is how smooth it looks. It looked so nice, and I'll be honest, none of the knots showed through at all. I did this about 4 years ago. I did take the opportunity to go through some of the cabinets and rearrange some things, but next I did my countertops, and I went with the Gianni kit. And so first you have to paint it white. I did a few coats of that, and then you literally paint on the marble design. So I ended up using the marble kit, and you can make it look however you want. And so there's a whole tutorial, but you basically just drag your paintbrush, and then there's a sponge. You spritz it. You have to keep it wet in order for it to move the way that you want it to. So I just took my time and I did the design that I wanted. And then the next part, especially with having a dog, at this point we only had one dog, I had to do the epoxy. And so I taped everything off, and I was really, really worried about getting fur or anything in it. And so that is something to consider if you're going to be doing this. So I did the epoxy, and it had to cure for 3 days, and then I was able to put things on it. And then next I went into, oh, okay, this door. It's a mess. I covered the cat door with that panel. I painted it white with the trim enamel, and I just did this for now, but I actually really like it like that. I don't know. Next, I needed to do the backsplash, which you can see here. The backsplash is, oh, I did backsplash and flooring. So the backsplash is actually mother of pearl, and it's self-adhesive panels, so that was awesome. And then I also went with self-adhesive floor tiles. I can link the tiles that I use for the backsplash in the description down below. And then for the flooring, I use Traffic Master because we have kids and pets. So that's been holding up really well. The last thing I needed to figure out was the transition strip. And so I ended up going with a self-adhesive strip that combined the gray with the wood grain. So that painting is going to be for another project, which I'm really, really excited about. But for the kitchen redo, I just wanted to hit on a couple of things that I feel are important and I wish I would have known from the start. Okay, so the backsplash. I love the idea that it was self-adhesive, and the nice part about it is you don't need to grout it afterwards, and it's really easy to cut. So I will link that down below, but that's something to keep in mind is if you want to grout your tile or not even have to deal with it. But there are a lot of really cool options out there now. I wanted to make sure that I was able to have a pretty kitchen, but with a really tight budget. And I think the backsplash ended up being the most costly out of everything. It was about $300 for every panel that I needed. I do still have some extra though that I'd like to utilize somewhere else. The flooring was about $120, and then I had to buy the paint. But basically, oh, and then the countertop kit was about $130, I think. I will link these down below so that you can see what I used. I'm not quite sure what the pricing is going to be now, but I wanted to give you like a quick recap. If you're going to do this, make sure your cabinet doors are super clean before you start painting anything. Really take your time with priming and having enough coats of the paint because it's going to give you a really nice smooth finish. It's going to look more professional. If you have a paint sprayer, that is going to be your best bet. I do not have one. There were actually times where I was using a paintbrush that was an inch, an inch wide paintbrush because I wanted to get it like perfect and smooth, and I would let it cure overnight. I kept doing 24 hours in between, and so as you get into the process, you're going to kind of get a feel for what you want to do. Let's see what else there was. The epoxy. So please keep in mind that you want to have good ventilation whenever you do that. The nice thing is as you're doing your design, if you mess up, you can wipe it off. So don't even worry. It's a really fun process. There are a lot of videos on YouTube that explain the process depending on which kit you ended up purchasing. But I love it. I think it's great. I actually want to try using it in the bathroom, one of my bathrooms, because if I mess up, I'll just find a new countertop or something. But I figure it's good to experiment in my own house. That's why you'll see a lot of pictures and videos of my own house, because I would never ever recommend or do something at someone else's house if I haven't tried it first. So, but this all went really well. I'm very happy. Sherwin Williams was also really helpful. So if you have questions, you can always ask the team there. But I love the trim enamel. I actually ended up using it for furniture and so many other things because it's so durable, and the self-leveling aspect is great because you don't want any brush strokes whenever you're doing these projects. So I just wanted to give you a quick little tutorial on how to do your kitchen. If you have any questions, let me know. I feel like there are probably things that I'm missing here. Oh, my flooring. I went right over the tile that I had. And I got thin tile from Traffic Master. I love how durable it is. I love the color of it. They have a lot of different options, but the fact that we have kids and pets, I really wanted something that would last a long time. I eventually do want to redo this kitchen with like real stone and everything, but for now, I'm just using what I have, and a big part of that is because whenever I looked into stone countertops, I mean, I have 3 kids. My oldest is 16. My youngest is 6. And so I've been through this where they're running through the kitchen and they smack their head off the corner of a countertop. And I'd rather have them bump their head off of this laminate that has epoxy on it than stone. And so that was another factor. I just really paid attention to my family now and what would make the most sense. And it made the most sense for me to experiment with these projects, keep it low budget, and make it safest for my family. So that's been really fun to be able to like play around with these products and see how they work. One thing about epoxy is whenever you have something hot, so like the air fryer, the coffee machine, anything that heats up, it will yellow underneath. So that's why you'll see my coffee machine is up on a riser. My air fryer is on a marble riser. So I try to keep the heat off of it. another cool thing about it, which is actually kind of weird, and when I first did this, I was really freaked out because I was like, oh great, I ruined it. Beets and mustard, anything like that that gets on it, it will stain. But then it just like magically disappears in a couple of days. So those are just some things to keep in mind in protecting the epoxy. It's literally like my sister's boyfriend had told me that it's like working with a surfboard. I'm like, well, that's cool. If this doesn't work out, maybe I'll make surfboards. I don't know. But anyway, it was a really fun process. Have good ventilation if you're doing the epoxy. Remember that unused epoxy, after it's been mixed, it heats up. You want to set it outside in a well-ventilated area in order for it to cool back down and harden, so you can properly dispose of it. But if you have any questions, let me know. I hope you enjoyed this. I know the kitchen is super white. I went with the mother of pearl because it has flecks of color that I like, that I can, for the holidays and for anything, like I can just do the decor and not have to like match anything. I really like the white and the gray. Everywhere else in my house is color, crazy color, and so the kitchen is the only spot that's like just clean and pretty. So if you have any questions, let me know. I'm here to help you. And like I said, I did this a few years ago. I will try to remember everything. I tried to document as much of it as I could because I was very excited about it. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye.